serious work, but I don't think that should be at the expense of the taxpayer.
Dr. McDonald.
Yeah, the only other thing I want to add is that a lot of these places that really need to be cleaned up, the garbage disposal fee, would be a small portion of the actual cost that it would take to the dump. So that, not everybody.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. YouTube is,
It's playing. Yes.
you need to
Pause it. Bottom left, upstream. Higher.
just block video and pause it.
In the bottom left of the video screen.
Is it recording now? Is it live stream stuff? Yeah.
Good to go.
As far as I know.
Sorry, thanks. No, I just was saying that when you have massive amounts of garbage or material laying around that you need to get rid of, the disposal fees would I suspect a very small portion is what of the effort or the resources needed to get rid of it. So the actual fee for that we're not charging is not probably helping everybody get rid of their garbage. That's the intent that we wanted. That's a big reason why it's not.
Deputy Mayor Barlick.
Thank you. Just hearing all the other considerations people have brought up. Again, I don't think I want to totally scrap this fee idea because I think in the end, especially for those smaller businesses, a little bit of savings that they can realize helps them. So if we want to say slash the cap load to 5 rather than 10 as another pilot year to see, we're only talking last year $10,000 in revenue that the town missed out on, and say 15,000 the year before. It's not huge amounts because we're only getting half of what's actually listed here. The other half goes to the contractor. So if folks think that we should scale it back and we have some businesses that are accessing it, but they're not coming close to the 10 cap limit, then let's just lower it to 5 and see if that still helps. Because I think some of those small businesses whose margins might be pretty tight, this still might be a huge benefit to them to allow them to have a bit of breathing room. I wouldn't want to totally scrap it.
Okay, and we can also get out there on social media and even send out to all the businesses that this is part of the cleanup and gives you opportunity to clean up. So if it is 5 free loads, that would certainly be a help. So, all right, any further discussion, comments?
So
Cindy?
to clarify for Wednesday, in terms of which motion, we might have to reword the motion after the discussion on Wednesday, either to approve for the 5 or the 10, but we'll have to make those.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Barlick is making a suggestion that we drop it from the 10 to the 5, and then that would be
That'll be the third option then, and then there'll be 5 options.
okay.
Approve entirely, approve for the 10, approve for the 5, defer the motion, or defeat the motion or defer the item. So I will add for Monday,
For Wednesday.
for Wednesday, a 4th option.
Yeah, and then the person making the motion can decide which option they want to choose.
Just another quick question.
Oh, Mr. Tom.
So last year the load was end dump loads, like that's what we said each load
Any
is
size.
any size load is equal. So if it's 5 pickup trucks, it's 5, and if it's 5 end dumps, it's 5.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's under the way it's currently worded.
Okay, and another, how is the scale at the dump right now? So I could have waited to the presentation, but I'm just wondering, is the scale working?
So the issue they have with the scale is having to zero it every time they have to use it.
And we did reach out to GNWT and a couple of other companies to see who they have that comes to
Microphone.
I'm trying, the word is skipping my mind now. That comes to check it. Anyways, we haven't found it. I guess the model we have, and how old it is. We don't have anybody that comes that we've not found anybody that can come up to help us recertify it and stuff like that. But the only issue they have right now is the fact that they have to zero it every time. So it always reads an additional weight, and they have to go zero it before they get a truck out where it works. And the other issue, obviously, which he's complaining about, is the fact that we don't have, the current printers don't work with it. To find a printer that works with it, so it actually automatically just prints out your weight and how much you're charged. They have to manually do that on Excel. But as excluding those two issues, it works fine.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. Turn your mic off. Okay, any further questions on the TID? Okay. Further comments on it? Okay, we're good. All right, moving on to A2. Requesting for council's decision on discretionary use, manufactured building construction, club lodges and land use, development permit 2604. Just ask Cindy to give a bit of an overview on this, what this,
So as you're all aware, this is the Talisle's old row houses. And what IRC is wanting to do. So bottom line is they want to have a residential area more toward the Mallet side of that property. And then on the Inuit side of the property, they would like to put a more of a youth center, as well as some of the other youth supported programming and staff being done there.
you mean a daycare?
Yeah, so,
Okay,
but yeah, it's more than just a daycare, it's also a youth
okay.
program as well. So I'm just gonna pull up for everybody to see what it would look like is. This here is how they would envision the daycare slash youth programming slash other family support offices in that area. One of the reasons why this has to come for a conditional use is that it doesn't fit within some of the criteria of the bylaw. It's not a permitted use, which means you need to ask permission. That's why it's conditional use. And in reviewing the R2 zone, when our development officer, Peter, took a look at it, it would basically be viewed as a club, like the youth center would be viewed as a club. So he is recommending that we do, there's two parts of this. The first one is allowing a center like that to be there. And the second one is that it's a manufactured building, rather than a stick-built on-site. So those are the two. I'm not sure, Gary, do you have any other information you'd like to share?
Gary Steve with IRC. So the buildings that Cynthia was talking about, the green ones, and then there's the parking lots around them. They're both part of the Malik Access program. One is a early childhood youth center, and the other, early childhood center, and the youth center is the other part. Both have on the green is the play areas, if you will. One for the youth, the childhood center, and one for the youth. And then there's parking to the left side at the corner of, I think that's Raven and Inuvik. And then at the bottom, correct, right there, that's a proposed site. We're not talking about that tonight, but that's proposed apartment building to go in there. But what we wanted to focus on today was the top part with the buildings and play area for the city center, for the youth center and the early childhood center.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Questions, comments from council? Is that construction this year, Gary?
Things, if contracts, et cetera, play out properly. Demolition along Inuvik would happen this summer, spring, summer. Probably early fall. Hopefully get some pilings in the fall and then have construction next year. It has to work. They've got the architectures or renderings, but we haven't got to the stage where companies have to bid on it and we select one, they fabricate it and ship it up here and put it together. Not at that stage. So that would, hopefully if things went well, we could get at that next spring, summer.
Okay. Councilor McDonald and then Deputy Mayor Bartlett.
Yeah, Gary, I'm just, sorry, so the two green buildings are the two buildings you're talking about? Parking lot on the left, and then the building on the right, what is that one?
The two green are the play areas.
Oh, that's the
Like
play area.
courts,
Oh, okay.
like the green space. And then this is the building that would house the
The-
early childhood,
Okay.
the youth center, and a few offices to support the programs.
Here, just because I know we're not talking about the apartment right now, but is the area that's remaining on, I guess, to the left of the apartment, is there sufficient parking there for the number of units that'll be in the apartment? Or is some of that other parking area also for the apartment?
I think they're separate and distinct. I really want to clarify it, but the intention was to have them separate and distinct. That is, the youth and childcare center will be on above the utility,
Okay,
and then the parking for the apartment would be south of the utility, well, on the bottom part, utility.
okay, but so with this land, if they're separate, then this is all the youth and, daycare support buildings. Is there enough parking here for however many units are in that apartment?
There would have to be. We wouldn't put in a proposal without enough parking spaces, no, there.
I don't know about that. We talked about the apartment on Mackenzie, which had to go back and forth several times before we found enough parking. So I'm just wondering, before you fill up the area that has a lot of space, which I appreciate, you need some green space for the kids and stuff like that. But the question we would have is there enough parking? Is that a 3-story apartment?
Well, it's still preliminary. Initially, we
Okay.
talked about a 24-unit, 2-story,
Okay.
but that's to be confirmed.
I guess that's the flag at this point, because if certainly we can approve the discretionary use and the plan for the top 2/3, but when you come back and are asking for the development permit for the bottom third, the parking is gonna be the question. We're all in favor of more housing, but it just has to, we can't, we don't want people parking on the street where they got no place to plug in the wintertime.
Mhm.
So just flagging that right now. Deputy Mayor Bartlett?
All right. Just, in our description, it talks about, the multi-use, the youth center, Malagax. It also mentions short-term residences. Are those planned to be in the same building as the youth center? Like I see some of the smaller, or those office? Or is it that talking about the separate apartment building to come later? Just in the description that we were given here as a summary of this.
I'll have to get back to you with an answer on that.
Cause in the rendering, it looks like it's, let's say, a 2-story building. I don't know if it's gonna have 2 stories inside. And if there's, I'm assuming short-term residence means maybe some sort of shelter. On that, and would that be in that kind of youth center building as well, maybe on the 2nd floor or something like that? Or is it talking specifically about the separate? apartment that's to be discussed later. That's all I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I can come back on Wednesday with an answer.
Yeah, it's not critical, just kind of want to understand the full description of use of that main building we're talking about today.
Other questions, comments from council? Okay, seeing none, thanks, Gary.
So Gary, one of you will be back here on Wednesday in case there's any other questions?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Item number 9, bylaws, we don't have any. Item number 10, department updates, and 10-1. You're going according to the list. Okay, good. 10-1 protective services. Mr. Larman.
All right.
That I tested should work.
Okay, perfect. All right, hello, everybody. I've updated stats. IFD was a slower, dare I say it, month. We only had 12 additional responses. About a number of those were all on the same day. Our average time to respond is sitting around the same. We had about 33 large scale incidents that required more than one responder. So we're tracking that just to see what kind of complexity of events as opposed to just single person alarm calls as well. Weekends are absolutely our busiest time in terms of like the overall percentage. The actual number of fire incidents we've had is sitting at 15 right now. So that again is classified as either vehicle, structure, outside fire with that one. Any questions about our stats for previous month and year to date? And alarm calls obviously is still the leading response type. So we're doing cost recovery on that too. We actually hit our revenue target for the year, just with some recent invoices that we put together. And it was a little bit slower on that for some various reasons at some of the commercial buildings, but we'll see how it goes in the summer and fall. So some of the activity that's been happening as well. So. Municipal enforcement, there's quite a few calls on that. They're responding on average to 2 calls every single day. The vast majority around animal control. It was a very busy month for animal control. I'll go over a little bit of that in the qualitative report from municipal enforcement as well. We had finished up, we had a few hangers on for our taxi licensing. We finished that off in the past month as well. But again, the big thing is animal control this one. We've had a few safety related things. And again, we pulled out patrols from these as well. So patrols are separate. They're still keeping up with 2 patrols per day, targeted with on various themes, depending on what our theme of the month is, essentially based on safety responses from the public and interagency work that we're doing as well. Quality update for IFD. This has been an extraordinarily busy month for us. We've done a lot of cross training with ECC. We spent the last week hands-on with them doing sprinkler setups, prescribed burning out at Jack Park, and then critical infrastructure protection at the hospital. So we did some setups and some pre-plans out there. We worked with our crews, their crews, and everybody in between, and basically figured out some data and some stats and did some number of hydraulic calculations as well, so that we can just plunk down equipment in the event of an emergency and really reduce the time frame it takes to set up, the resources required, and everything else. We're continuing on with that. We're doing ICS 200. We have some of our staff participating with ECC on that next week. We're looking to, that's great because it increases the emergency response capabilities for the municipality across the board. It's one of the standardized course for emergency management relates to fire, floods, you name it, basically, all those under ICS. We're wrapping up our NFPA 1033 fire investigator courses. So a number of people on level 1, there's a couple of us on level 2, and it gives us the ability to just provide more comprehensive investigations, and just gives awareness to our staff as well for redundancy and continuity. Again, mainly alarms, we had one spicy hazard assistance, as we call it. We assisted the RCMP on following one of the raids they did that was publicized. So we respond to those afterwards and help clear up CS tests and the other substances that might be in the building, basically related to the rating.
outreach. We had an amazing time at the Science Rendezvous this year. It was quite fun. We set up technical rescue equipment, and we basically showed them the magic of physics. So we did just a one-to-one setup, had them try to pull us. They couldn't, we would have left them waste. Then we set up a 5-to-1 setup, and they basically mopped the floor with us. It was quite popular. We had lots of kids come through, talked about the capabilities, talked about the equipment. We were on the other end of our partners over at EMS, and they had quite a pretty amazing booth as well. So there's lots of good feedback we've heard from the community on all of this. We're pretty proud of it because we had a really good time doing it. We're going to be helping out with the Kiddie Carnival. It's on June 6th, 7th. So we'll send some people out with that with RCMP. They've contacted us just to see if we can assist with that, just in terms of lowering volunteer numbers across the board. We can relate to that, so we wanted to help. So we'll be there and helping out for both days with that. Ongoing projects are WUI assessments. So that's why we're in interface again. So we're doing fire smart assessments within Inuvik and then surrounding communities as part of our training program. Concentrating on Inuvik first, and we're partnering with Housing Corporation, or Inuvik Housing now, and Inuvik Housing, just to do some of their buildings as well and provide comprehensive reports for them and improve the safety of our community. We're going to do that with training, so we get everybody trained up and they continue on with assessments, and then that will involve going out to Fort McPherson and City Chick throughout the summer. There won't be any impact on response capabilities within the municipality, nor on staffing as well, because there's a totally separate funding for that. And ongoing, we're going to pick up some pipe flow testing. We did some preliminary work over at the construction sites across the street. The contractors and engineers on that wanted some data around that, so we figured that out for them. We're going to be working with Dana's crew and the Utilidor crew just to do some more flow testing with some of the automated equipment, so that we can get some of the critical data that we need, as well as contractors need, in order to calculate flow rates and residuals and other things that allow them to set up sprinkler systems and do larger scale construction as well. We're going to be performing annual service testing on our hose lines. That's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. We're the weather cooperating a little bit now. It's an annual requirement. We got thousands of feet of hose to test, so we'll be doing that mainly during the day, but then also we're hydrating for the weekends as well, so that we get our paid on call vendors coming to help us out. Just some photos on the side. Our WUI cross train event up in the top right. We finished up our technical rescue month. That was the focus of our training, our regular Wednesday training, and that is some more cross training down there on Star Wars Day with ECC and Inuvik Fire representing. So, got a qualitative upgrade for MED. Are any questions around Inuvik Fire? I don't know. So we've hosted a event previous month. We got another Arctic Pause coming up next week, actually. We did a lot of work with them just to try to facilitate some of their next part, humane euthanasias and disposal. We were able to empty out the pound, which was not the greatest activity, but we made the best of it. We don't have the incinerator yet. We were hoping to get that in, but it didn't make it before the road, but we'll have it up for the summer. So this will probably be the last pit that was out there. We worked with ECC Wildlife just to dispose of some of their material as well. And again, animal control interventions was the kind of focus of the previous month. We had lots. We made some changes in terms of our policies and our SOJs just around animal response, around dangerous animals. That was one of our humane euthanasias. We had a request from citizens to do that. We've done a few interventions based on activity and reports from the public. They were successful, we felt, just reaching out to dog owners for some that were out and about and loose more than we cared to see. We have a bike rodeo coming up, very popular event that we've been running for a long time now. And that's June 10th to 12th. We have that hammered out with the school. We'll have a few different partners with that as well. And we're coordinating this campaign with Justice Committee and RCMP as well. We purchased some helmets to give out. They have some helmets to give out. We're going to continue our positive ticking campaign as well. We had some really good success with that last year. We're just working with some local businesses to make sure that we can keep giving out those tickets and keep on doing rewards for that. But I expect we'll be successful with that. It's very popular, and we're starting to see already kids out and about without helmets. So we just got our first batch in. We're hoping to get more now. And we'll also be doing ATV safety with that as well. So focusing on it's limited in terms of what we can do directly for ATV licensing and the registration around the vehicles because that's DOT. But nonetheless, we can focus on the safety aspects of that. So we're already taking notes, checking out video footage, and see what we get. Safety patrol will be ongoing, particularly with the additional activity that we're seeing from wildlife in the community. It's not necessarily within our jurisdiction for that, just because it's wildlife for sure. But the more presence we can have, especially in the peripherals of town, that's better just to help have another set of eyes out and about. We're back to full staffing. Carl's coming back tomorrow from his parental leave, so we're really happy to see him back. And we'll get him out and about and doing a lot of the safety patrols, bike rodeo, and everything else that he's great at doing. And municipal enforcement will join us for ICS cross training as well as part of the Protective Services Department, just because it increases the capabilities across the board. Just had to put a photo on the right-hand side just of our new setup at the front office over there. So we're able to take payments, do applications, everything else on the iPads that we have set up in the front. Along with a QR cards, we got neat out of a bit, but we're hoping to have some more stuff from Charlotte's team where we can kind of combine everything into one location. Around IT, we're gonna revisit the server. We've got some movement on some other software. So we may be able to spec it out for requests for quotes and tenders through the summer. We'll see how that lands, and we'll get that going a little bit sooner than we expected, which is good news, just because prices never ever go down, that's for sure. Ongoing servicing of parts and repairs and everything else. So we're just developing that process to as we bought all the new hardware, we're starting to see some user activity and other things that create damage or other stuff to it, parts failures. A lot of equipment, we just want to make sure that we always have inventory in place so that we can swap computers out and make sure that there's no real loss of business continuity. We implemented our multi-factor authentication program. That was great. Doesn't seem to be any snags. It was relatively straightforward, minimal training required across the board, but everything seems to be working with that. We're starting to experiment with door access hardware within this building. We realized we could do some of that within the operational budget. We originally had it for a capital project, but we pulled that until we did some more investigation into that. We should have some accesses set up within the next couple of months, I would say. We just got quotes in, relatively small cost to start off with, and then we're gonna see where that takes us from there. And then community hall monitors, I know it sounds like hall monitors for school, but we've been working with the Charlotte and Trace's team. Just to do some pretty big monitors that are going to be installed in the community hall, just improve the presentations and everything else. We're aiming to get those in before Arctic Deb. I hope they arrive, or they're should be on a plane any day. We'll get those installed, and that's really going to improve presentations and other events that occur in there. Any questions from council?
Thank you, Brian. Questions, comments from council?
Just quick question. Your door access system, is that basically for the fire hall access?
It's the fire hall side right now, because that's the only one swap right now with access and 24-volt access. So it's a quick swap. That's why we want to experiment on that one, just because we don't have to do any mechanical work.
Just
in and out just for the controller itself. So we're looking at a couple different options for that. We want to go with something generic so that we're not down to like one particular ecosystem basically.
Right.
But we think we can do that right on the server itself, definitely. So yeah, with everything network connected now, it should make it a lot easier. So the brains will basically live here, and then everything else we connect to that. And we should be able to roll it out to all the facilities, a little bit slower ones that don't have the access already in there. MSC, they're already kind of set up for it. Yeah, I know, yeah. We're gonna see what we can do with that, but we're hoping to start off here because we do have a lot of traffic through the front back doors here, and especially what it's also gonna do. I like this part of it. It's like a ring camera, not a ring camera per se, but a camera at the front, so that people come up for requests for service, because we're out and about often, but we do want to keep the doors secured on our side. But it allows us to communicate with people remotely, just through our apps or through the iPads, so that we can either direct them to QR codes, direct them online, or tell them to come back when we're there. So. Lots of options now. Meat is the pound, as the case may be. So yeah, but just trying to improve service for the community basically through that. So
The other access is for like contractors or short-term access, where they only need it for a bit and then you can shut them down.
and the vets and things like that,
Yeah.
because we can manually unlock it right now, but then if somebody forgets it or it's like every day and someone's gonna meet them, it's not necessarily conducive to. Yeah. So
Brian, you mentioned the incinerator will be hooked up or installed this summer. What's involved in that?
just connected to a fuel tank. We specifically went with a diesel incinerator as opposed to natural gas, so we wouldn't need to go through a larger installation process. So we purchased a fuel tank from a local vendor, and it's just basically copper tubing attached to it, and pretty straightforward for this one. So,
Okay.
but that's already in place. We're just waiting for that to come in so that we can fire it up.
Okay. Any further questions, from council? All right, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
And to FDev and tourism, Charlotte.
All right, so last time was presenting my report. It was Tourism Week. So I'll just give you some info about that event. So we partnered with the library that showcased some of the books that they have out there on a table for everybody to look at. We also partnered with ITI that hosted a little presentation. We also ran a tour operator of the year. We had 86 votes. So Arctic Chalet came first, DG Outfitters came second, and Polar Pack came third. We also, thanks to our sponsor Air North, we ran a little questionnaire where you can see one of the questions answered here, which is the most popular event, basically. So the Masquerade Jamboree is the most popular, followed by the Sunrise Fest, and then Knapp. Other questions were more related to tourism, like where would you take a visitor for the first time in Inuvik? What would you like to see in town? Stuff like that. So we can work on some with that data. So thank you to the library, ITI, Air North, as well as maintenance crew and Parks and Rec crew. We also held 3 workshops that were not that popular and ended up with only 10 people attending. So it was on a Saturday, so usually people are free. I'm not sure what happened there. But the Arctic market, all in all, was very popular with more than 30 vendors and consequent sales for them, so that was good. We also promoted Tourism Week in Tuck, where they held a 50 trivia question to discover and rediscover the Hamlet, which now is it's a long-term project where they're actually keeping that project and will promote it at the Welcome Center for any visitors that are planning to go to Tuck. So that's pretty much a very popular week and ending on the Arctic market with lots of events. So that was great. Then we are still working our Arctic Development Expo. So as of this morning, we have 264 attendees registered, 46 exhibitors. I have 3 more coming this week. And actually, this is not accurate. I didn't update the 13 sponsors. We have more now, but the numbers are accurate. $94,000 in cash and $38,000 in kind. We're also working on Fiddle and Flow, and that will come in August 14th to 16th. We already scheduled the sign-up sheet, and we have already 15 musicians that have signed up or at least submitted their applications. We're working again with Inuvik Community Event Society this year, helping us organize the event. And then different projects. I'll finish with the Town of Inuvik app, just so the boardwalk shades will be put in place this week, and with project completed by the end of the week, this Friday. Clue Solvers, this is the tourism project where you can, like the game to discover the town. The person is coming the week of June 8th. Is that a week? It will be completed by June 12th. And then funding, so since I've seen you, this is the different applications that were submitted. I already some that got approved, one that got rejected. I also got some answers. So for example, Canmore that I applied in last winter, got rejected as well. And I have, what else? I have the federal government, the BCAH for Fiddle and Flow for this summer got approved for $23,000. And yeah, that's all after you have everything on the table there. Then I can just present to you the Town of Inuvik app. So you can scan the QR code, or if Cindy, you can click on the TUI app, like the actual
agenda.
the title. That is,
Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were.
yeah.
Click on the QR code there.
Thanks. And then I guess I'll just go. Thank you now. So that was developed by the communication coordinator. So basically, it's a sum up of the website. It's a cross-departmental project led by the communication coordinator. So you can see there is the departments, calendar, newsletter, and the website itself. The whole idea was to make it more user-friendly, the website itself, instead of going through all information and text and whatever, actually finding the information that you need very fast. So it's more targeted to residents than tourists, even though it can be used by tourists, but it's really for residents. So for instance, if you go on departments, if you want to go to infrastructure, you have all forms, permits that can be filled out online instead of printing the paper or coming to town hall. You can do it online right here, right now. And there is no button to go back.
It's on the top left.
Oh, it's on the top. Yeah, sorry. Oh, thanks. Then Parks and Rec. This is different. It's still, we're still working on it, but so Parks and Rec, the great crazy idea is that you can actually book rooms online, and soon enough make payments for it too. So this is a big jump. So yes. So for example, where is it? Facility rentals. Next, this is not finished. We'll have to work with Lori. There you go. So yeah, you have all those rooms for rent and you just pick the one you want. So let's say the playground. And then you pick, you have to fill it out, but then you select the time. Let's put it hourly. Oh, Cindy, can you put whatever? Yep. Good enough. And then so you can select the date and that will send an email to the MSC staff and they'll review your submission and contact you. And soon we'll have the payment option as well. So the whole app is supposed to help staff as well as residents find the info quickly and just, yeah, more user-friendly. Everybody is on their phone right now, so might as well take the way. Also, there is an option to have push notifications. So this is a website, but it's also an app that you can download on your phone. And if you allow it, if you allow notifications, then on our side, we can send you notifications on your phone. So for example, water shutdowns, lockdown, God forbid, but yeah. So stuff like that, we can do it now. So that's the big project. So as you can see, there's still some work, but within the next 2 weeks, it will be out and we can start using it really. So, but it will be promoted to the public within the next 2 weeks. So that's that.
Great, thanks, Charlotte. Questions, comments from council on any of that presentation? Councilor McDonald.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, I love the app. That's a great idea. I'm just curious on the notification. So if somebody, and it's probably more the trades, but say gym memberships, if they're coming to an end and they need to get a new membership, will that be one of them? No, you won't.
That's not, so no, we're focusing more on rentals and
Okay.
things right now to get that squared away. The gym system might come after. We don't have an integration between like everybody's end date and their emails or anything like that, because the gym computer is completely separate from anything else we do. Definitely something we can look into and step with one of these reports.
I can,
No,
because we've been running with a lot of this as well. And then and was actually made it work. So fire permits, for instance, that's one of the ones we've had automated for quite a while now. So our next steps with that is every January, it's gonna email everybody in the current list of fire permit holders and say, do you want to renew? Click done. And then, so that's once the things that get going with some of the databases, then we can do like full automations after that, just within the job form software that we got. So there's a lot of things we can do once the databases are built and once we have a lot of input into it. But yeah, we're kind of getting figured on our side, just seeing if it works, but I'm excited about it because it makes it way easier, right? You get more buy-in from people, so yeah.
And on the other side too, we have an internal one for staff. With a few links like this as well, like HR stuff and so.
Great, any further questions, comments from Charlotte? Deputy Mayor Barrett.
I'll just echo Councilor McDonald. I think this is a great step forward, bringing us into the 21st century. I could see the calendar in particular being a big thing for residents, being able to see all the different things, and hopefully all the different groups that have stuff going on can feed into that. And like you say, having alerts of, oh, this thing is just starting now, come on down and check it out. I think it's gonna be a huge thing, because I don't know, I find it hard sometimes to track everything that's going on, and having it all hopefully centralized in one spot would be really helpful. And especially getting reminders, because some of us get a little more forgetful in elder days. Thanks.
Thank you. So the calendar is on the website currently and always been. It's just like you say, I think it will be easier for residents to just go on that app and just have it right away. There is also the option, and we've sent emails for two different organizations. There is the option for people to sign up their events right on the town calendar. It's not used, but we started communication last week on that. So hopefully we'll get more and more other organizations filling out.
I think you need a big pickup on the app use of the calendar. It's gonna be huge. Like you said, everyone's got their phone with them all the time. They don't always carry it on their computer.
Exactly.
Good, thanks, Charlotte. N3 infrastructure, Danielle.
Quick updates from the Department of Infrastructure. The word I was looking for the last time was calibration.
Yes, I figured it out.
That was the word. There's someone coming up to calibrate. I just couldn't. All right, so yeah, I'll just go through the presentation we have here pretty quickly. No, it's not working.
Just trying to, for some reason it's paused. Just give me 1 second here.
Sure.
It doesn't pop up there.
Thank you. It's been a long day.
Yeah, so that works. So I'll start off with the operations and maintenance updates. So yeah, we've had the crew from the utility end going out, steaming the lines. We're obviously getting towards the end of that now, but between the last time I had an update and now, we're proactively try to get that done to prevent flooding across town, and obviously water running across our roads and getting that damage. So those are 3 different pictures of the team members in 3 different areas of town, trying to get the culvert steamed to get the water flowing from across town as we had the melt. Street sweeping. So the team began street sweeping towards the end of April there. So that's 2 different pictures showing the street sweeper heading out. And then on the right, we had the skid steer working on the walkway on Mackenzie. So yeah, and those efforts will continue for the next little while till we get we get the gravel out of the way as much as possible on the roads, and to try to reduce dust across town. We also had grading done. Obviously, this one is done by our contractor because we don't have those equipments. So those streets have constantly been graded. As it arises, obviously, we had to wait a little bit for the ground to be dry because I know we did get a couple complaints here from town about the condition of the road, but getting it done in that wet state was just going to mean we're going to have to do it every day or every 2 days. So we had to wait a little bit to get that done. And of course, as the snow melts and we're starting to see all the issues we have in terms of potholes, and the team is currently driving around and getting this inventory. And then we have placed an order for what we're going to use to fill those holes up. So hopefully once the road is open, those will get here and we can commence on that work. Operational maintenance. So I've always had a screenshot, I guess, in my slides with how we're doing with our work orders and stuff like that. But obviously we've been seeing a constant decline now with the mechanical issues and all that heating issues we have in the winter going away. So there's a decline in terms of the number of work orders coming through and stuff like that. But obviously with, like I said earlier, with the snow and every other thing melting and disappearing, we're probably going to have a bump again in the next couple of months. But looking back at March, April, May, there's been that constant decline. So seasonal repair and seasonal work by the crew. So that's the utility crew there cleaning out the coagulant lines. We typically do this once a year. Obviously this year we've had to do it a little bit earlier. We think it has to do with the fact that we just have 2 trains running. So they had to do this on the weekend because the coagulant lines were clogging and we're having issues with the water getting filtered as it should. So the guys were there till about 2 a.m. I think it was on Saturday, trying to get that done so that we could have water production continue for the town. The intake line. So typically this time of year as well, with the increase in water levels, turbidity tends to increase. So we switch our intake line from the river. Well, the one in the river is left there, but we don't use it. We create a temporary one that we use during this time of year, so as to help reduce the amount of turbidity we get in the raw water coming into the plant. So yeah, that was actually just done today. And then it will move one more time before we go back to the main line. But yes, this is the first, and then it moves somewhere in the river, and then finally we'll go back to the line in the river, because otherwise we're going to end up having to air bust the lines very frequently because it's just going to keep getting clogged, but with silt and stuff like that. So yeah, in terms of addition to the team, we had Terry join the infrastructure team on the maintainer side, and then of course we have the summer positions that have now been advertised by HR, with the plan to have 3 summer students or summer individuals, I guess, individuals that will join us in the summer on that team to help with all the community activities and stuff that we do around town. We also successfully completed hiring the energy champion. So we had Adesh Shewa recently joined the team as the community energy champion. This position, as you know, is in collaboration with SEER and is focused on community engagement and funding acquisition for all the energy efficient projects that they've already identified in the energy plan for the community and all the reports that they did when they were up here. So yeah, we have those additions to the team. So yeah, a couple of capital project updates coming up now. The Welcome Center, Director Veria already mentioned this. We had the shades arrived in town. The picture there is the electrical as and when contractor installing all the plugs that we're going to use to connect the shades, and the actual contractor to install the shades arrived today with hopes to finish this project by the end of this week. So hopefully that should be done and off our books. The MSC crawl space, the structural assessment, I guess, for the MSC, for the Midnight Sun Complex. So resulting from that, we are working on reinsulating the crawl space to try to keep, because the problem we have with this area is there's always water in there, right? So we got rid of the water, we're insulating that whole space there, laying geotextile and an additional layer of gravel to try to freeze that ground back and see if that's going to halt the movement and the shifts we tend to get with the building and all the cracks that end up showing up in the building. So that's currently ongoing. Hopefully we should wrap that up pretty soon. And well, I guess the last bit of that will be installing new thermistors. So we can actually measure what that temperature is underneath there to see how much freeze back we're getting with all these new measures we have put in place. The water meter replacement, the antenna communicator with the radio the antenna was installed, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. The cabinet in the fire hall side of the building was also installed. So we're just waiting for a little bit of electrical work to be done, and then we can hopefully have this commission. Hopefully, the goal of this will be to prevent our AR officer she wouldn't have to drive around town anymore to read the water meter. So the idea of this is once this is done, she will get the readings from everybody's meter right at the hard desk. Of course, there's still some work to be done in each individual's residence, which is to replace the radios on your meters. So we've started doing that already with all the new meters we're installing. We're installing the new radios, but that needs to be done for all the other 800 customers too, so that this can effectively work. But we'll get there once this is installed. The washroom building, so that's going on currently as well. We have the contractor pretty much framed in. Electrical work also commenced towards the end of last week. But obviously he's waiting for a bunch of materials to make the road. So when the road opens back up in June, he'll have most of his materials in and he'll continue working on this project. But yes, we should have probably towards the end of summer. We may still use the porta potties this summer for sure, because obviously it's not going to be ready before all the events kick in. But towards the end of summer this year, hopefully the washroom should be done and we should have this readily available for the residents by next year. Clean up on GXA, so the 2 units there that we acquired, I think 2 years ago now, or last year, to demolish. The contractor reached out, they started cleaning up number 51 already. We already got an email from a couple of the neighbors there, very excited that we're cleaning it up. So hopefully, I mean, it did hit a snag, obviously, with the landfill and stuff, but hopefully sooner rather than later, those 2 buildings will be demoed and those lots will be cleaned and ready for resale. MSC solar farm. So, as most of you already know, the solar farm was commissioned on the 23rd of April. And this is a snapshot from the software that shows the power we are using. So this is just a 2-day snapshot from May 12 to May 14. The y-axis is the power, and then the orange is the building load, the green is the solar, and the purple is power from NTPC. So typically, I mean, from around 6 or so, the solar starts to go back up, and then we're pretty much using solar till very, very much later in the day when it drops, and then that's only when we rely on NTPC power. So the PV power is, well, my slide says 100%, but I would say it's more 96 maybe. But yes, we are pretty much using the solar panel power now to offset the power at the MSC. Let's have a couple more slides about that, I guess. So all 5 arrays are operating well, and as shown, but obviously they're overlaid because of that. So this was May 12th to 14th, the picture above, and then May 7th, to 14th, 2026, the one below. Just a couple screenshots from the software, just showing what and how that's currently operating. During regular daylight hours, the MSC complete about 100%, and 91% of the power used at the MSC was from the solar panels, and then of course, solar panel. I can't really see what I have on that lower right because of that stuff there, but yeah, well, that's fine. This is just the 36% of the power used at the MSC was from the solar from to date. No, that's not working too. Same. Next slide, please. My clicker is not going again. Sorry. Thank you. We'll have more data, obviously, when it comes to how much this is actually saving us. We took a quick look, because right now we only used it from the 23rd of April to the end of April. So by the end of this month or next 2 months, I'll have much more data in terms of how much this is saving us. But so far, just in the month of April, for those number of days we used it, we estimated that it saved us about 11,898 just for that. Just for those couple of days we had, well, more than a couple of days, but for just for those days we had it in April. This was comparing April 2024, 25, and 2026. Next slide, please. I think my clicker's gone crazy. I'm not sure why. So the sewage lagoon project, we received the confirmed schedule from the contractor. It hopes to begin construction here in June. And anticipated end time will be around mid-September. So everything going well, that should follow through the schedule really. And hopefully the outlet structure and the road and all that, all the scope of work that is included in that contract will be done. Next slide, please. Oh, funding applications. So yeah, this was requested by the mayor. I guess he was asking to see how many funding we've actually applied to, or how. So we have the GNWT GHD grant. We applied for about $250,000 to pretty much finish up the biomass project there at the reservoir, because that hasn't really worked out for us since it was installed. But there was a couple scope that was included in the original project that was removed because of cost reasons. So hopefully, if we get that extra funding, we might be able to finish that off and actually utilize that biomass plant. The deep energy retrofit program for the Sentinel Library, we've applied for 150,000 from Northern Reach to support that project. And then we're also applying for the second phase of that project, still for the library, to the GHD grant program. We also submitted an application for $270,000 for the boat launch, to finish up the boat launch. So we did get some money last year. We need a little bit more to be able to wrap that one up. Oh, it's working now. The GMF adaptation in action implementation project, we submitted Inuvik climate resilient water infrastructure backup power project. So they reached out to us, and obviously one of the projects they have sponsored in another community was a backup generator for the water treatment plant. So we said, well, let's put in an application for that. I know we took that out of the capital project last year, but obviously if we do get money for it and it's not our money, then I guess we could go back and revisit it. We've applied, we'll see if we get it. There's also a feasibility study stream, which will support having engineering and feasibility study done. So right now, the project we submitted was for the drainage around the MSC and the drainage right in front of the town hall here to get some kind of feasibility study and design ultimately. They are also looking at options for a solar farm for the water treatment plant. My first question was, where is it going to go? But that one hasn't been applied for yet, but this is all pretty much being done by the LEAP group, based on all the reports they had from all the buildings when they did all the energy audits when they came up. We also have the one for the MSC. I actually just got that document today. So we're almost ready to submit that as well, which is for the energy efficiency project, I guess, for the MSC, which includes replacing all the pneumatic systems to DDC. And that's my priority, I think, in terms of all the projects and all the application we're trying to make for the energy efficiency projects. In my mind, the priority for us as a town is the Midnight Sun Complex. So if that's the one I really hope we get when we finally submit that application. But yes, I got that file today, like I said, and hopefully between now and the end of the week, we'll submit that as well. I think that's about it. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Thank you, Daniel. Questions, comments from council, Councilor Gillis?
Daniel, what are the dates we plan to use the washroom and it's like open it when in the year and then close it when?
Oh, I don't know if I have an exact date already, but the whole idea was to run it through summer when we have all the tourist season really. And then it shuts down there during the shoulder season and till the next year. So it's maybe 3 months in a year, but we don't have the hard sets open and close it right now.
Probably June, July, August, September, that's main tourist season, and that would be probably reasonable to run it then, because it's only heated with a couple of small radiator heaters, not furnace or anything.
Also, like, the park is usually used and requires washrooms for a certain amount of people during that time, like all events that are run are during that time. In winter, we don't really use the park, there's not really any events going on, so we don't really require. The whole idea too, I was told, is that the washroom at the Welcome Center, there's one accessible by the public, is just like, when there was too many people using it, it was backing up because the angle of the tube under whatever is not whatever. So it's not really good for having that many people using it. That's why we have this project, and also will be easier to access for the public being outside of the Welcome Center.
Councilor Gills?
Is there any way to paint our garbage bins? They're like starting to get graffitied with like vulgar words, or, I don't know if you've taken a drive around, but I have, and there's gangs and.
Yeah,
like,
the ones
lots.
behind the school.
They're insane. They're all over town.
Yeah.
But like, if you're getting summer students, and like, is there a way to paint them and take that off? I mean, I know it's gonna happen again, but let's keep painting them.
Yeah, well, there is actually a project which I don't know if we have enough details on that just yet, but there is a project we did that the directors and the SAU already discussed in terms of having murals on the garbage bins. I don't know what stage that project is currently at, but I know
I
it's
think
something
that's
we're.
2027 stage.
Yeah, so I know it's something we are talking about, but obviously we could look into. I don't know if they can clean up, but yes, I can discuss that with the maintenance coordinator and see what we can do. And
If I recall in the
spray
past, you might wanna take a look at, there is some cleaner that you can
Yeah.
take the spray paint off with.
Yeah.
So we might need to take
Yeah,
a
that's
look at
what-
that,
yeah.
or paint over the graffiti.
I'm guessing if we contact the manufacturer, this isn't a new problem. They would know exactly what we need to clean it up, because it is an enamel paint that's on there.
Mhm.
So it'd be very difficult to paint on top of that and have that stick, but I'm sure the manufacturer would know what we need to use in order to clean it up.
Yeah.
There are a few where we've done some welding that could probably use some painting there, just because they've been fixed, but I think probably the other ones would probably clean off easier than paint. Councilor Gillis?
I don't know if you've been to the grave site, but it's the new side of the grave site, but it's like now full, so I don't know what we wanna call it, but there's like 2 lakes. Like people, like the crosses are underwater and like getting damaged, and so I'm just curious if there's any way that we can maybe pump out those areas and maybe help those people be able to fill, like, I know we have a gravel there, but maybe some education on that on the website, cause it's kind of sad, like I was there the other day and they're underwater, like many gravestones are underwater. So we might wanna pump that out if we can. That's
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Check on that and see what, just before back on Wednesday, what we might be able to do, but longer term, we may need to look at some type of drainage plan for the cemetery, especially as we go into, the newer areas, that if that's creating a problem. Deputy Mayor Barrett?
Thank you. Thank you for the information, Daniel. It's really encouraging to see the solar information coming up, and I'm encouraged that we could see some significant offsets through several months of the year, hopefully, in that. It's a bit of a council concern, but I just bring it up now since you're here. Just walking around like the basketball court area and stuff, there's a lot of garbage and everything around there. And when I did a quick scan, and I know this is maybe a weird situation because it's kind of on GWT property, But there's no actual garbage bins anywhere around that basketball court area that I
Which one?
noticed.
This one?
Yeah, it's right across here by the school.
There's a blue bin. There's a blue bin right.
Is there a blue bin by the
Right in
corner?
front.
Maybe I'm just blind.
The small, not the big one, obviously, like we have on the main street, but a small one where the kids and everybody can throw things in.
Yeah, just because there's lots of garbage strewn all over the area there, and I don't know, I just guess I must have missed it, I kind of just did a quick scan and didn't notice one, but I thought if we're
There
missing.
is a blue bin there, that hopefully the kids will use.
I keep wearing my glasses.
But yeah, like you said, it's generally it's a lot. The school also do a drive once in a while to have all that garbage picked up.
Yeah,
And we also actually support them, to be honest with you, but yes. Yeah, there is a blue bin there.
we'll have the big garbage pickup program happening soon too across the community, so. Yeah, I just had scanned and hadn't noticed the bin, but I just must be blind, so. Thanks.
Daniel, great information on the solar project. Any news on when the battery's coming?
As soon as the road opens, it will be on the trucks.
Okay.
Coming.
Any further questions from council? Councilor McDonald?
Yeah, just more of a comment and a bit of a question, but the drainage, the utility crew seemed, I don't know if they're doing an amazing job or if something changed, but we didn't have as much flooding or standing water as usual. Is that luck or was there something that we did with?
So we dried up a little, I mean, and I think I discussed this with the SAO. The town dried up pretty quickly this year. Some of that is just, well, that was the way it happened. But yes, we did do some kind of proactive measures, I guess. So we cleaned out some of the drainage. Obviously, it cost us money to do that, but we did that. And then the guys were going out pretty early to get that done, to try and make sure those culverts were flowing as soon as they noticed them, right? So yes, I think it's a little bit of both. It happened that way this year, but obviously on our end, yes, we had the contractor going out, cleaning out some of those ditches and getting rid of some of the snow to try and make way for the water to flow. And then obviously the guys were also out raking in all the overtime and getting that done.
Well, kudos to them because there was a massive difference in certain areas of town that I know, that were particularly that I'm familiar with. The other one you made the other question on you in a comment, you said the biomass project didn't work out as you said. What did you mean by that, or what was?
Well, we haven't used it as was originally designed. So this was a project that started, I don't know how many years ago, 6 years, 5 years ago, before I joined the town. But number one, the scope in the original project was not finalized. Obviously, I guess they reduced that because of cost concerns and stuff like that. So for instance, the two boilers in the valve house there are pretty old and big and oversized for that building. We don't need them. We don't need them that old. We don't need them. I mean, we don't need them that size, for instance. We could use two smaller, more efficient ones, stuff like that. Number two, it was designed to only come on when the water calls for it. And before the water actually gets to the reservoir, it's already warm enough that it doesn't need it. So there's not enough load at the reservoir to actually have the biomass units come on and stay on. So the alternative will be to have like a ghost boiler installed with the controls or something like that. So it kicks in a ghost boiler, but there's no boiler, and then it gets cold enough that the biomass system will come on. And number two will be to actually reduce. Number one of the two old boilers has packed up. So in the original project, that was included to be replaced, but never did. One of them now has packed up. Replacing it is as good as just replacing both with two smaller ones. So obviously, the whole idea will be to replace them with smaller units that are sized appropriately for that building, and then hopefully wouldn't need to come on, and then the biomass will come on. And of course, like I said, we'll have like a buffer tank or a ghost boiler installed in the control system. So the system will be deceived to think a boiler is on, but there's no boiler on, it's cold enough, then the biomass will come in and then kick in. And then take over both the heating of the water and the building is what we're trying to achieve, so that we can actually use that system because it's in place. And based on the calculations that was done by the contractor that worked on the system, one full silo for a year is what it will, which is way cheaper than the amount we currently spend on diesel for just the Hidden Lake tanks we have to heat up the water and the building.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a design issue.
I wasn't here,
Yeah, but that's what it
but,
sounds
but
like it was.
a bit of both. They didn't also have enough money to finish it. And they took out some part of the scope, right? So. Yeah. So hopefully if that funding comes through, we can focus on that and hopefully get it done and utilize it. One of the options that has come up is moving that whole thing from there to a different building where we actually have the load for it.
Mhm.
Thanks, Daniel. Any further questions for Daniel? No, great, thanks. Patricia, so our new reporters.
I think that the process.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, fellow staff and guests. Inuvik Works, we've been quite busy. So just a little bit of a quantitative update. We, of course, still have our Canadian Women's Foundation grant, which was 75K annually for over 4 years. So we have 3 more years left of that. Mentorability Hub Partnership, they've renewed that. So we have that funding again. We have a new partnership with the Inuvik Tech Society, 25K for that. And it's for a computer upcycling and refurbishing. So we have a partnership with Webhorse, and they've been doing training with a couple of crew members so that they can safely and in a manner that things can be certified on a certain level, that they're safe to go out back to for other people to use. So they're being cleaned up and updated appropriately. So we're just nearing the end of that training, and then we'll have some any computers that come in or computer equipment that comes in, we'll be able to know that it's safe to be sold out or given out into the community, whichever comes up. Just today, we got gender equity funding for $5,000 approved. They just sent it's a grant, so they just sent the letter today. So that means that we have secured funding for some activities and the program manager position. Of course, the one that we're always waiting with bated breath for is the GNWT Department of EC&E. And this year, GTC, we're in the process of working with them. Last year, they funded one Inuvik Works crew member wage subsidy, and this year they're finishing up that because that kind of overlapped into this year, and then they're going to do possibly, it looks like 2 more of their beneficiaries are going to do wage subsidies for, so that gives us a few more crew members. EC&E, they haven't got their funding approved yet, so that's what the delay is. They're waiting for their approved funding. And then, so that includes the wage funding and the training funds and all of the parts that we get from them. And of course, that's the bulk of our budget. With the GNWT, the Healthy Choices Fund and the Anti-Poverty Fund, I'm just waiting on that to hear word from them. ICC, we have a great partnership with. We team up with their elder program and their camp, wellness camp, and we've been assisting them with some of the tasks. Oh, did I miss one? So oh no, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, qualitative update. So the next to new crew has been working around town, cleaning up Mackenzie Road and public areas. So the areas that you're talking about, the tennis court and things like that. They'll be working on that in the next little while. On June 4th, they're helping the schools do a school cleanup of their parks. They're gonna help with some of the areas that's not safe for the kids to go in, like under the culverts and things like that. And then they will be hauling all of the things that are gathered to the landfill for that project. So we're teaming up with that. That's the list of crew members that we have right now. Some are part-time or
or sort of casual, and other ones are full-time. Well, I guess they're all of them are casual, and under the town's staffing, all of us are casual, but for us, some of them are there every day and some are there some days. And so there's some pictures, and that's the little truck that the town lets us use or gives to us to use, which we are very, very grateful for. But you can see that list of names, and there's 5 of those crew members in there right now. And as you can see, it's a little squishy. And so their wish list is to have a bit bigger truck. Number one, it's a short box. And so they have to make many trips sometimes instead of some less trips. So on their wish list is a bigger truck. So we're working on that. We've helped out with some of the town projects. We teamed up to steam culverts and clearing snow from around the blue bins and clearing snow off the solar panels when they first were wiring them in the late winter there, and helping with the Midnight Sun complex. And so I get pictures daily. Some of you know Stanley Gordon, one of our crew members, and he's been down there working on all of this over the course of a few weeks. And so I get pictures daily of what he's working on down there. So that's some of the progress you see there with the layering up of the insulation and the gravel, and the first layer of gravel, the insulation, and then they were doing the second layer of gravel just the end of last weekend today. The thrift store is operational. We have 3 staff and 6 volunteers that work part-time. There's we have one full-time, and the admin person for the store, and then we have rotating other staff and volunteers that come in. So we have some volunteers that have been with us for 6 months or more, and we have one that just started today. And donations are overwhelming. We have so many donations. People that come in say, since we opened, say, oh, you need a bigger space because we have so much and we constantly are putting things out and people are constantly buying it. So it's a good rotation of items. And you just see the little quote on there from one of the elders that we assist. It's not working, sorry. So this slide here, it just shows one of our partnerships, the Inuvik Native Band. Staff came over on Friday and brought lunch and shared it with the crew. And so that's just some of them there that weren't camera shy in the picture just after we had lunch with them. And we have a really neat partnership in that lots of in-kind back and forth. We help them, they help us. And so that's just them showing their appreciation for that. So what's coming up, renewing and some renewed and new partnerships, increased mentorability sessions and matches. Last year, I think we had 2 mentorability matches, and this year we've already had 2, 3, 5 mentorability matches. So that's more on target with what the mentorability partnership is about. And we're having an event June 1st. We're gonna do our first anniversary celebration. We figured we started sometime in June, and so we're just gonna pick June 1st because we did that slow start, and so the date was kind of a moving target. So we picked June 1st. Then we have the Mentorability Connections coming up Wednesday, March 28th. That's gonna be at the library in the Vicki Billington room there, and it will be from 1 to 3, and just a chance for people who are trying to find a career path, and people who might be able to support them to have a career path and just give them some ideas of what, kinds of steps they took to get their career. And then June 1st, we have the Essential Trades Carpentry course coming up. That's in partnership with Aurora College. And that always happens very quickly, within a blink of an eye. They say, we want to offer it, and we say, yes, of course. And just in conclusion, sustainability is a bit unpredictable with annual funding agreements, but we're working on more stable funding. And the community is very positive about both the Inuvik Works and the Next to New program, so we're hoping that we can keep it going. Any questions?
Thanks, Patricia. Questions, comments, council? Certainly, I know, Michael and the crew over at the Rec Complex have been very happy with, getting the help from the, Inuvik Works crew, who've actually done probably most of the work. Michael's been underneath there, but a lot of the other staff have other duties, so the crew have done a great job down there, and that's hopefully will save us from melting down into the permafrost. So, yeah, good work, to all of them who were down doing that.
Thank you. And the crew's always very proud of the work they do for the community. Like when they were cleaning Mackenzie and people were waving and honking, and they just were so happy to be recognized and to be doing well for the community. A lot of them, this has been a long path, and some of them are new and have had a little stumble and just need to get on the right track. So, yeah.
Well, great, good job. Any further?
Thanks.
No further questions, thanks. Park and Recs. Grace, it's all yours.
Wait, looks like I'm finished.
Sorry, Chris, just let me,
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. This is the May Parks and Recreation update. Lots of good things on the go, so I'm excited to take you through it. Starting with our key performance indicators with the gym, the revenue from April was down slightly from February and March. We usually like to be up closer to that $10,000 mark, or that's where we've been since the beginning of the year. But as we can see, the May revenue has almost hit the April revenue with a few days to go. So we're confident that we'll at least surpass April's revenue. We got a total revenue to date of $40,561.48. So that puts us well on track to meet our budget numbers as of right now. To the chart over on the left there, we can see the breakdown of the gym memberships by type. Things are holding fairly steady in May. You can see there's a few more 1 month memberships that were sold in April, but again, we still have a few days left to make up those numbers, and those are some of the most popular gym memberships. So I'm fairly confident that we'll meet and exceed those numbers as well. The weekly and the day pass, we can see fairly significant numbers in April. I think that's due mostly to some of the courses and some of the one-off things that we had in the facility, and it usually attracts people to come check out the gym when there's more of those events. So those numbers dropped a little bit this month, and then we sold 2 annual. This month was always nice to see as well, people committing longer to the gym and the fitness center. Moving over to the library. The library computer hours, they were down 56.5 hours this month over top of April. The computer users were 44 less. I think that the biggest consideration to that is just a little bit of nice weather we had. People were out and about. They're not spending as much time in the library, utilizing the building itself. And I think that's reflected in the items checked out. That was plus 64 this month. So we see people are still utilizing the library and still coming to the facility. They're just not necessarily staying and utilizing the items there. So we can see there the items used in-house was down 31 Over the last month, I think there was 80 in April. The Vicky Billingsley Community Room use stayed consistent at 4, so the staff does a great job of making sure to provide that to groups as an alternative if space at the MSC isn't available. And then otherwise, new registrations, so people that haven't held a library card before, we got 2 new ones this month, which is a fairly standard figure for what we see at the library. Excuse me, but it's always nice to see an increase. Over to the chart on the right is just the breakdown of the people that use the library. It doesn't really change from month to month. There may be a few more kids some month and a few less youth, but for the most part, the adults make up anywhere from 70 to up to 75% of the usage in the library. Moving over to the recreation side of things, Lori, our recreation coordinator, doing a fantastic job of running a bit of a try it campaign, getting some different programs out there, listening to the community and their wants and their needs, and seeing what we can accommodate and what sticks. So for the indoor walking track, which we're pretty proud of, we had 100+ individual users since it's opened. And with that, we also held a first 1 to 10 kilometer challenge. So that was 70 laps of our indoor walking track. And there was a couple of people that were really competing to win that. And you can't see on the poster there, but just a shout out to our 2 winners, Gandhi and JC. So we originally said we were gonna give a 1-month gym membership to whoever won, but because there was so much enthusiasm about it, we thought that we could pick the top 2 winners since they put in such hard work there. Moving on to the table tennis that we've had set up in the lobby for a couple of months now. We've seen about 166 individual users come through in that time. It is by far and away mostly the youth. We'll see them, before swimming, after swimming, in between events, things like that. So it's really nice to have kind of that spontaneous use activity and somewhere for them to go and something for them to do. Indoor soccer is another great one. This came to us as a suggestion as the school gets busier or less accessible over the summer. And so that's running out of curling rink arena service right now. We've seen about 15 to 20 participants per session with between 90 and 120 cumulatively across the 6 games that they've played so far. This is a free event in order to attract people and get them in. And that takes place Mondays and Saturday evenings from 8 to 10 p.m. If anybody's interested in that. Director Odiase is not here, but he's usually in there playing and pretty good at it. So I know he enjoys it. And then just at the end there, the annual Fireball happened earlier in May, and we're always happy to be part of and support that event. Moving over to the library, doing a lot of great things over there. They continue to run their Reading Rascals program that ran 4 times. It runs every week, but it's run 4 times since we presented last. Able to accommodate 22 kids and 9 adults. ARI has continued their STEM visits. These are one of the most popular events that take place at the library. They bring lots of cool things. I think they had a 3D printing pen last visit, and they did bottle rockets of some sorts, like rockets made out of water bottles. The book warden program continues. This is where kids can come in, read select books, and fill out as they earn points, I guess, for lack of a better term, for filling out the book or for reading the books. They win prizes. So instills that love of reading in kids and keeps them coming back. We ran a youth night earlier in May, and that was a success. That was one of the first ones we tried that. And that was that helps with one of our streams of funding is really focused on, it's called youth, but it's 16 plus. And so I believe there was a turnout of about 17 people for that one, and they just did some different activities and kind of hung out. And I know the staff were able to get some ideas from those that attended to how to improve it and things to do different and things that the youth/teens would like to see. So really looking forward to going ahead with that one and seeing how we can develop that. Just at the bottom there, as I said when I started, the library staff does some absolutely phenomenal work, not only in their daily roles at the library, but also as community members. And so I really just wanted to take a second and shout out a few of the staff that did some unique or amazing things during this time. For Tracy and Renee there, I received an email late last week from the program manager over at the Charlotte Bay House group home. And they had a resident in the house who really enjoys DVDs. And I'm sure some of you know DVDs are hard to come by in town in terms of buying them. And this gentleman has a massive DVD collection. And the library was getting rid of some old stock DVDs to bring them in with some new ones. And so they invited this gentleman and the program manager over to go through these DVDs and pick some out and take some home. And the email that I received from the program manager was just talking about how great Tracy and Renee and all of the staff were and how they took the time to help this gentleman pick out some DVDs. And they said, the program manager in the email said he went back happier than he's ever been. And so I think it's just really important to give them some credit for that. And, you know, it's important when the community notices. So, and then longtime library employee Bev got to be the flag bearer for the unveiling of the National Military Cemetery. So we can see her over on the right-hand side holding her flag. And Bev is another one that not only does a great job as an employee, but obviously with the Rangers and other things, is incredibly involved in the community. And I think that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I really just wanted to take a second and celebrate some of the great work she does both inside and outside of the library. Looking forward, lots of good stuff coming up over the summer and into the fall. Our annual summer camp is going to start July 6th. So you'll see some registration going out for that shortly, as well as job postings, which are always popular. As council knows, we have the Muskrat Kid Carnival coming up in just over a week here. So looking forward to helping support that event, as well as the June 8th, the Inuvik Pride movie screening that'll take place in the hall. The youth fitness orientation is something I'm excited about. What we're looking to do is to alter the gym attendance policy a little bit. Currently, 14 and 15-year-olds need to have an adult present with them, somebody 19 or older, to utilize the gym. We see a ton of requests come in for the younger crowd being able to utilize the gym. And obviously with sports and other aspects and things in town and with the school shutting down, you know, over the summer, it's important for them to have a place to train. So we're going to take a lead from lots of other municipalities that do this sort of thing. And what it is if somebody of that age category would like to sign up for the fitness center, they just come in with a parent, they complete a basic fitness orientation that will cover proper use of the equipment, quick, proper lifting form, just proper gym etiquette and that sort of thing. And then they're going to be good to carry on into the gym. And we just think that helping instill some of that onus over the fitness center, you know, will attract the right crowd and, you know, we'll cut down on anybody that comes in just to mess around or anything like that, but then also provides the youth an outlet to, you know, hopefully get a passion for fitness. On that note, nothing that we've set in stone yet, but I was, extremely excited about the potential for this program. We were approached by one of the new RCMP members in town, and he has an incredibly extensive boxing and martial arts background, and he has graciously approached us and said that he wants to do some programming for both youth and adults. And so we are gonna take full advantage of that and looking to get something out, you know, fairly soon, if not into the early part of the summer, definitely before the fall. Speaking of summer, the Midnight Sun Fun Run is scheduled for June 21st, as it is every year. Looking forward to that one as always. And then staying on the fitness trend there, the new, we've had some issues with one of the treadmills in the gym for a little bit of time now. We've finally settled on one, and it is staged and ready to come up as soon as the road opens, along with a few extra additions to the gym, some new bars, some new things like that. So we're constantly just looking to improve the equipment and make sure that users get the best experience possible. Perhaps the biggest one, and it's not necessarily looking forward, but I guess it is a little bit, the pool is fully sponsored until December 2026. So we can see on the right-hand side, and Councillor Wayman's not here, but I also wanted to give a shout out to him. for getting the ball rolling, sponsoring us through April and May. Fully with the pool. And a lot of other companies, local and non-local, followed suit. So after Northwind sponsorship is done at the end of May, Northern Industrial Construction will be doing June, July, and August. And we can see on the right-hand side there, we've installed some signage in the pool to make sure that we celebrate those sponsors. And so once Northwind's sponsorship is finished at the end of May here, then Northern Industrial sign will go up. When Northern Industrial is done, then Arctic Petroleum Services has graciously sponsored a couple of months. And before I announce it, we're just finalizing the December sponsoring, but we will be sponsored fully until the end of the year, which again, a great avenue for the kids over the summer, knowing that they don't have to pay and they can come in and get out of the heat and have a place to go. Does council have any questions? I'll read my text notes.
Good, thanks, Trace. Questions, comments, council? Councilor Gills.
I think that's amazing. The sponsorship is really great, like the pool, that was sad when we made the post that it was gonna cost some money, so that's amazing. I really like the forward thinking on the gym. I think my son's the only one that's not allowed to go to the gym because his mom's a counselor. And he has to find a buddy or an adult every time, so I love that because I actually pay for his membership.
Yep.
So I really, really think that's amazing, because they want to be in there.
And it's funny, counselor, actually, I ran into your son in the gym the other day, and this is kind of what sparked the conversation, is because I went up there and we were talking, and he was in there and he was working out hard and he was, you know, being respectful of the place, and I thought, there's no reason that somebody like that is, you know, wants to be in there and utilizing it properly shouldn't be in there. And as I said, there's a ton of municipalities, big and small, and cities and towns that use a fitness orientation and kind of put that trust in the youth. So I think
Where it starts. Thank you.
Trace, what's a month, sponsorship at the pool worth?
It's dependent. The summer months are a little more expensive, just because of the additional swims. They're $5,000. And that's to sponsor all non-instructor led activities. Well, the rest of the months are 3,650 all in.
Okay.
So, and if anybody needs those rates provided to them, I do have them as well. So feel free to just send me a message.
Yeah, certainly the larger contracts that contractors that Cindy and I have met with are all very interested, and we met with the NIC people and they said, yeah, this is something we want to do. And so I know we've had other meetings with some of the contractors and they just see it as a way of contributing to the community and the visibility also. So I think that's great. Any questions, comments?
Yeah,
Tom.
I just want to kind of say the same thing. I mean, the sponsorship is crazy, and I love the fact that it's contagious, and the fact that people see, you know, companies see companies sponsor, and I think it'll probably keep on happening. That's what it looks like. I just want to say I love the forward thinking on the walking track and the ping pong. It's a thing that take minimal effort from our staff, and I see the use like tremendously. Ping pong in particular, what you say? Yeah, so there's a lot going on there. So many good things happening, not to be negative, but the steam room and the hot tub, they've been out for an extremely long time, and I've talked to numerous frustrated community members, and I don't have an update for them. I don't know what's going on. I was wondering if you can help me.
Yeah, so in both instances, we're still waiting on parts. The part that they thought was wrong with the steam room was not the issue, and so they've had to go back and re-troubleshoot that. The hot tub is figured out. The contractor ordered a gasket. The gasket that came in was the wrong size, and they are currently waiting on the new gasket. Once that's in place, the hot tub will be up and running fairly shortly. I don't want to put a timeline on it, but the repairs are made. They're just waiting on this gasket, and then we'll need public health to come in and commission it again. But the hot tub will be back up and running fairly shortly.
Okay, great. No further questions, comments. Thanks, Trace.
Stephen, are you ready for corporate services?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Are you bringing up my PowerPoint?
Yeah, I am sharing it now, so you should be able to see it. So the
Okay.
first one is I'll just go slide by slide. So the first one is the quantitative update.
Is it? I can't see it yet.
So Stephen, how about if I just read them out, so, like read out your bullet points for you then?
Oh, is it open? Is it already on? I can't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just open it on my side then, so I can be looking at it myself. 1 second. For some reason, I'm not able to see the one that is opened over there. Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and colleagues. This is corporate services report for May. Starts with the quantitative updates. Capital project reports as of May 19th, 2026. We spent about 10% of our capital budget so far. About $1.1 million has been spent out of about 10.1 million. We are currently in the process of revising the budget to come up with the 2026 final budget. We'll look at the details later. I'll just look at the operating expenses variance report for 4 months, January to April. It's more like a break-even situation. The net operating surplus about $52,000. And the major reasons are also in the Excel reports that we're going to look at after now. Qualitative updates. What we accomplished. We received an additional $2 million from a Canada contribution agreement. That's the second tranche. We first got 181,000, and then 2 million came in May actually, but it was scheduled for April. So the next tranche is coming in October. Our Q1 CPI and gas tax report has been submitted to Marker. Also, the draft audited financial statements have also been sent to Marker for review. We got a new temp staff for our AP, and he's doing well so far. The AP permanent staff is on parental leave right now. What's coming up? On June 1st, we'll be starting the series of meetings for the implementation of our new accounting software, Microsoft 365 Business Central. That's what we are going with. And then also we'll be finalizing the 2025 audited financial statements. Marker will review it. We're giving them a week or two to review the 2025 audited statements, and then would implement whatever recommendations they have, send it back to the auditors, and then they'll finalize the draft. So that's part of what what's also coming up. Then we can look at the individual, can look at the capital report. If you can open the capital report over there.
Okay, I've got it pulled up now, Stephen.
Okay. So as you can see, we have most of the projects are still below 50% spending. So the breakdown and the comments by directors are by the side. Yeah, the major ones are where we are really spent so far is solid waste site. We're still so in the new budget, we're going to revise the amount there. Right now, we spent above the little amount we had in our interim budget. So that's the highlight there for solid waste side. Bernard Road, we've not done anything yet on that. So these are over 500,000 figures. We haven't done much there too. Utility door replacement, we haven't done much. Sewage lagoon. Filter 700 refurbishment project, we've done about 75% we have done there. So some more amount to be spent, 54,000. So in the last 1 month between when I had my last report and now we've spent 613,548. That's the monthly change. So it's increasing month by month. And now that we're going into the season where we spend much, we're going to see more of that happening as we continue. So we look at the operating budget variance for the first quarter, for the first 4 months. You can call that up. So looking at the net figures, we have a mild surplus of 52.8 thousand. And the breakdown is as follows. For protective services, we have a deficit there because in the budget, we anticipated that by now we should have received the second tranche of the amount we are getting based on the contribution agreement, which is about $68,000. We are yet to receive it. So we budgeted for it to come in the first quarter. Infrastructure, public works, we have a surplus due to the 100,000. We didn't budget for the 400,000 that we have received from the Center for Indigenous Environmental Resources, SIA. So that's going to be updated in the new budget that we are currently finalizing. Infrastructure, environmental, we have a deficit there. Due to that 1 month lag we have in the tipping fees documents. We don't get it until, way into another month. For utility operating revenue, we have a deficit. Yeah, this continues to be the explanation. We refunded over 200,000 to customers for wrong charges over the years. For parks and recreation, we have a surplus. This is due mainly to pool rentals. We have overshot our budget for the period in question for pool rentals, both youth and adults. Land, this is immaterial. We'll not look at that one for time purposes. If we go to the expense side, we have a deficit here. From my review, it's from Inuvik Works. I guess we have spent more than we have received so far. I'm glad to hear that there are more contribution agreements that are coming in. So we expect that in the next report, that will be better. Protective services, we have a surplus here, mainly due to the Wideland urban interface and invoice refund from MACA for training. Infrastructure, environmental, we also have a surplus, and where that is more like within note 3, there's a deficit in the revenue side because of the lag And also that also leads to the surplus on the expense side because of the same lag. Economic development and tourism, there's a surplus, less spent on Sunrise Festival and Inuvik Guide compared to the amount that was budgeted. Utilities, operating expenses, we have a surplus. Also, a mild surplus. And it's mainly because we have spent less than we anticipated, than we budgeted for the period. So that's that for the operating side. For the capital side, these figures, I don't have explanations for them because it's usually mainly due to time lag in between when the expense is incurred and when we accrue the revenue. Right now, it has nothing to do with when we receive the money because we're going to receive the money much later. CPI comes in sometime in June, July, but we spend monthly. So as we spend every quarter, the last time I accrued was the last quarter. So the accrual of the revenue comes in not usually every month. I try to do that every quarter now. So that's why you will see some discrepancies in the variances, but it's mainly due to timing differences between when the expense is incurred and when we accrue the revenue. We haven't yet received any money for community public infrastructure, and we haven't yet received any money for gas tax. It's only contribution agreements that we have received money for, and that's where you have this surplus here of 181,000, part of the first tranche of the core water and wastewater infrastructure upgrade, 5.4 million contribution agreement. So that's the explanation I have for the capital side. Overall, we have merging capital with operating. We have a little shortfall of $69,000. So that's that for my report. Any questions from council?
Thanks, Stephen. Questions, comments from council? Any of that?
So if I could just speak now about, as Stephen alluded to, the final budget documents. We met with finance, the finance committee today. There was some edits that were required just based on our conversation. So Stephen is working on them right now. I need to print them out for you. The printer never works when I need it to, so I'm going to say by 9 o'clock and I will hand deliver them all to you. By 10 o'clock tomorrow. So you'll have the first draft of the final budget for you tomorrow that we will then discuss in camera on Wednesday with all of the directors. So what you'll see is when I give it to you, the interim budget and then any changes that we have made to the budget based on the director's input as well as the committee's input will be in red. So that way you can see the difference between interim and final. And we can discuss it that way. So I hope to have those out to you. Stephen, I believe you're just finishing up the last figures. So
yes,
by
10 o'clock,
9
yeah,
o'clock,
10
I'll be
o'clock
able
is
to print
doable.
them out. Okay, so I'll have them out for you by 10 o'clock tomorrow, once the printer prints them for me. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stephen. Thanks, Cindy. Moving along, information items. Cindy's got an AK flooding update.
We've been monitoring it over the last week, myself and Janine Gordon from MACA. We've been in daily contact just to keep an update on that, in preparation for either the Aklavik evacuation, which is hopefully not going to be happening, and any potential wildfire. We are an evacuation center, and where we get the cots is a CCAN storage at the MACA lockup by Boot Lake. So what we've done to facilitate that, and thank you, Trace, for fixing that, is sometimes what happens is it's 10 o'clock at night when we find out that potentially we might be an evacuation center the next day. So what we've done is we've moved that CCAN from the GNWT closer to the MSC, so that way we don't have to coordinate trying to get it moved up and getting a truck and that thing to move it up. So that already is established at the MSD. And in terms of the Aklavik flooding, I'm not sure if all of you do get the ECC updates, but they've been, again, tracking it. Generally, it's around 15.5 meters is when that flooding potential is imminent. And it's been close. It's been about 14.3, so it's been within a meter of that. And Janine said right now it is holding at 14.3 meters. So it's holding. There is some breakup further downstream now, but there's still intact ice again at the Horseshoe and at the Turtle, where the rivers are converging and when a couple of those bends are. But so far we've been tracking it every day. If we do have to be a host community, I will inform the mayor, and he will, of course, inform you as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I would like to inform everyone that grad is happening this Saturday. So, yay. Congratulations to everyone who just graduated this year. If any of you would like to attend.
What time is it?
I don't know. I'd say
I think it's 2 p.m.
afternoon, definitely.
Yeah, it's in the afternoon. Okay. We'll let everyone know on Wednesday the exact time. Okay, thanks. And actually, I'm not going to be 2 p.m. Perfect. I'm not going to be here, so Deputy Mayor Fairlick is going to congratulate the grads for the town, and he's also going to hand out the Terry Halifax scholarship because MLA Rogers is also out of town. Next week I'll be at the FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, in Edmonton for the 3rd to the 6th of June. And we've also got 2 special meetings, side meetings on that. Well, one's part of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities on the northern, is what they call it, the Northern Caucus, where all of the northern mayors and councillors get together to discuss issues, you know, in the north and in the Arctic. And then we're also having a side Arctic mayors forum, kind of a side meeting of people that will be attending that are also part of the Arctic Mayors Forum, which is funded by mostly funded by the European Union. And so some of the staff who work for the Arctic Mayors Forum will be there, and then we'll kind of hold a little bit of a side meeting at the FCM also. Any other information items that people want to share that they're aware of? Not seeing any. Item number number 12, council concerns. I think we went through a couple. Any other further council concerns? For the bomb. And we are not going in camera tonight, but we will on Wednesday. And just motion to adjourn. Moved by Councilor McDonald. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
staff, for all the
Peter.
reports.
No, no.
Bye-bye, Stephen.
Thank you.